The Galactic Council erased humanity with a vote, declared them extinct, weak, irrelevant. So when a single unknown battleship emerged from a dead sector and shut down an entire Imperial fleet without firing a visible weapon, the galaxy's oldest empires realized something horrifying. Humanity had never been gone. They had been watching. And now the countdown had already begun. The grand chamber of the Galactic Council glowed with cold magnificence, a cathedral of power suspended above a blue-white star. Tier upon tier of alien delegates hovered, perched or slithered in seats carved from materials older than Earth's sun. Crystalline beings refracted light into rainbows. Insectile admirals clicked their mandibles in irritation. Ancient empires, each convinced the galaxy belonged to them. At the center, a holographic star map rotated slowly. One system blinked red. Sol. A counselor of the Virex Dominion spoke first, his voice smooth and dismissive. The human problem is resolved. Their expansion collapsed under its own inefficiency. Short-lived species, predictable outcome. Soft laughter echoed through the chamber. Another delegate, tall and skeletal, extended a claw. Their final transmissions showed panic, internal conflict, resource depletion. They destroyed themselves before we needed to act. The vote had been ceremonial. Humanity was already written off in Imperial archives as non-viable civilization, self-terminated. No fleets dispatched. No weapons fired. Why waste effort on a species that couldn't survive its own ambition? Only one figure remained silent. Archivist X of the Karun, keeper of forbidden histories. His eyes lingered on the dark space beyond Sol, on empty regions the map refused to illuminate. "You assume extinction," X finally said, voice brittle. "But there are gaps in the data. Entire decades missing." The chamber erupted in annoyance. "Paranoia," the High Chancellor snapped. "The Council's judgment stands. Humanity is irrelevant." The star map dimmed. Sol vanished from record. None of them noticed the faint pulse rippling outward from the erased system, like a heartbeat. The first anomaly appeared in a salvage report. An Imperial patrol recovered wreckage near the Perseus Expanse, ancient, scorched, and unmistakably human. The metal composition didn't match any known alloy. Its surface was layered, adaptive, almost grown. Technicians ran scans, then reran them. The wreckage absorbed energy pulses instead of reflecting them. More fragments surfaced, not just ships, but structures, deep space habitats hidden inside rogue asteroids, silent, powered down, yet intact after centuries of radiation storms that should have pulverized them. Archivist X pored over forbidden records, stitching together fragments the Council had ignored. Humanity's last years hadn't been chaotic, they'd been methodical. Evacuation vectors that led nowhere, military production spikes with no corresponding fleet sightings, entire colonies that vanished without distress calls. "They didn't collapse," Zell whispered. "They withdrew." Encrypted logs surfaced from black market data vaults. Alien mercenaries spoke of encounters they'd been paid to forget. Human vessels that never pursued, never communicated, but always positioned themselves between threats and something unseen, as if guarding the dark. Then came the sensor ghost. A massive object briefly appeared at the edge of Imperial space. No drive signature, no emission trail, just a gravitational distortion so precise it mimicked a moon. Before fleets could mobilize, it vanished. Fear crept into places arrogance once ruled. Humanity wasn't extinct. They were hidden.
The human ship did not announce itself. It simply appeared above the neutral trade world of Kepri Station, eclipsing the stars. A single vessel, sleek, matte black, its hull traced with dim blue lines that pulsed like veins. No weapons visible, no escorts. Imperial diplomats scoffed. "A relic," one said, "a lone survivor begging relevance." A transmission opened across all frequencies. A human stood on the screen. No armor, no visible rank. Calm eyes, measured breath. "We acknowledge the Council's authority," the human said evenly. "We request observer status." Silence followed, then laughter. "You were erased," the Chancellor replied. "Your kind forfeited its claim to the stars." The human nodded once. Understood. No protest, no threats. That unsettled them more than defiance. Sensors probed the vessel. The scans came back wrong. Internal volumes larger than external dimensions allowed. Power readings fluctuating as if restrained by choice. The human ship did nothing, and yet every veteran admiral felt it. A pressure, like standing too close to something patient.
The ultimatum was swift. Disarm, submit, surrender the vessel for study. Failure would result in immediate annihilation. The human envoy listened, then responded with a single sentence: "We will not comply." Imperial fleets translated in around Kepri Station, hundreds of ships, weapons charged, commanders eager to erase the embarrassment. The human battleship remained motionless. When the first shot was fired, it wasn't dramatic. No explosion, no flash. The Imperial cruiser simply went dark. Power failure cascaded across the fleet. Shields collapsed. Weapons died mid-charge. Ships drifted, blind and helpless. The human envoy returned to the screen. "This engagement was predicted," they said calmly. "Your response time was within acceptable parameters." Fear replaced arrogance. The human battleship did not fire. Instead, it changed shape. Layered hull plates slid apart with mechanical precision, revealing structures that bent geometry itself. Space warped subtly around the vessel, light curving as if uncertain where to land. But the Galactic Council had mistaken for restraint was revealed as containment. Then the first wave deployed. Not fighters, not missiles, nodes. Thousands of autonomous constructs emerged in perfect silence, each one no larger than a shuttle, each one glowing with the same calm blue signature as the battleship's core. They spread outward in mathematically flawless patterns, forming lattices that intersected gravity wells, communication bands, and hyperspace corridors simultaneously. Alien commanders shouted orders. Too late. Across Imperial space, alarms erupted as dormant human assets awakened. Deep space relays hidden inside dead stars powered on. Cloaked platforms embedded in asteroid belts shed their camouflage. Fleets that had never appeared on any galactic census rose from regions labeled uninhabitable. Humanity had not retreated, they had distributed. Every human ship moved with purpose, never colliding, never hesitating. Their formations weren't aggressive, they were decisive. Supply depots vanished under precision strikes that left surrounding space untouched. Command ships found their navigation rewritten mid-jump, emerging light years from intended coordinates. Alien admirals finally understood the horror. This wasn't brute force. This was systems control. Human technology didn't overpower, it replaced. Human AI didn't react, it anticipated. Entire fleets found their targeting data rewritten, their friend or foe protocols inverted, their weapons refusing to fire without human authorization. A message echoed across every compromised channel, delivered without threat or emotion. Escalation threshold reached, containment protocols active. Only then did the Galactic Council realize the truth. Humanity had not built a military to fight wars. They had built an architecture to end dominance itself. The galaxy fractured into battle zones. Human fleets didn't charge. They arrived already positioned, slipping out of subspace at angles that nullified enemy firing arcs before the first shot could be calculated. Imperial formations attempted to regroup, but every maneuver was anticipated seconds before it occurred. Human AI spoke to one another in compressed time, exchanging probabilities faster than biological thought. Each ship knew when another would fall and adjusted before the loss could cascade. Alien weapons fired. Human ships moved, not away, through. Energy beams bent as localized gravity fields altered their trajectories. Kinetic rounds passed through projected voids that simply weren't there anymore. When humans did return fire, it wasn't overwhelming, it was precise. Engines failed, shields collapsed, command bridges went dark without hull breaches. Fear spread. Veteran alien crews, species that had ruled for millennia, felt it claw into their instincts. This wasn't a battle for territory, this was disassembly. Entire armadas found themselves isolated, their hyperspace exits sealed by human-controlled space-time anchors. Attempts to flee resulted in ships reappearing exactly where they had started, fuel reserves mysteriously depleted. Human sacrifice was calculated, never wasteful. When a human vessel took lethal damage, it maneuvered deliberately, detonating in positions that collapsed enemy formations without harming allied units. Even in death, their coordination held. Across the galaxy, civilians watched as empires they believed eternal unraveled in hours. The Galactic Council tried to issue a ceasefire. Their transmission was blocked, not jammed, filtered. Human fleets pressed forward, not accelerating, but finishing. Command hierarchies dissolved as command ships were neutralized. The battle didn't crescendo, it concluded. Silence followed, heavy and absolute. For the first time in galactic history, no empire stood unchallenged, only humanity.
The Galactic Council chamber no longer glowed with arrogance. Its holographic star map flickered, vast regions now marked not by imperial insignias, but by quiet human control symbols. Not flags, not claims. Safeguards. Delegates sat in stunned silence. Empires that had ruled for tens of thousands of cycles were reduced to fragmented remnants, their fleets drifting powerless, their command structures erased without genocide, without conquest. Archivist X finally understood. Humanity hadn't erased enemies, they had removed the ability to dominate. The human envoy appeared one final time. The chamber's defenses failed to block the signal. "We are not here to rule you," the human said, voice steady. "We never were." The chancellor, once untouchable, struggled to speak. "Then why all this?" The human paused. "Because your systems reward expansion without restraint. Because extinction-level decisions were made casually. Because you mistook silence for weakness." The envoy's gaze hardened, not with anger, but with certainty. "We withdrew because we saw where this galaxy was heading. We prepared because survival requires patience, and we returned because the balance finally broke." A final revelation followed. Human fleets began powering down, control nodes disengaged, anchors released space-time corridors, alien systems slowly regained autonomy, intact but changed. "We will not govern," the human concluded, "but we will remain." The transmission ended. Across the galaxy, a new truth settled in. Humanity was not a conqueror, not a savior. They were the limit, and every civilization now knew exactly where it stood.